Now, this afternoon, an NPP MP is turning the heat on Driver and Vehicle License Authority, DVLA, accusing it of charging illegal fees. The DVLA for months have been charging what is called compliance fees against vehicle owners who did not adhere to legal and regulatory requirements. The DVLA listed nearly 50 items and charged 220 Ghana cedis for every alleged breach. But NPP MP for Ifya, Isaac Boamanyako, described the charges as illegal since it did not receive parliamentary approval.
These charges are imposed by Parliament, not by any government agency on its whims and caprice, by regulation. So you would normally have made your fees, taking it through government for approval, and then it will be laid before Parliament. Parliament will have to approve it before you go ahead and charge. But here's the case: the DVLA had gone ahead to charge people for either sport fines, amongst others, without recourse to Parliament. And that is an affront to the law. And these are areas we are raising because it is becoming one too many. The government thinks that a lot of decisions that require parliamentary approval now never seeks to come to Parliament with it. Is it because they want to bring the image and reputation of Parliament into disrepute? Or is just a disregard because they have absolute majority, as in over 2/3 majority in Parliament? But Parliament is a sacred institution. It is completely separate from the executive. Parliament is made up of representation of the Ghanaian people. 276 members appointed or elected by the entire country. If you take the executive, it is only the president that is elected. And so when the law makes it such that something that you are going to charge us as a people should get the people's consent, and you don't bring it to Parliament and you begin to charge, and then when issues are brought, you say, I've suspended it, and now you are bringing it to Parliament. Are they saying that they never knew that they had to bring it to Parliament in the first place? And so I get worried again, the style of government, trying to disregard the authority of Parliament, trying to disregard the powers that Parliament has been vested in by the Constitution.
Now, Isaac Boamanyako is calling on the president to sanction the DVLA chief executive, Julius Nikwe over his alleged illegal charges.
But issues that require parliamentary approval, that they are completely disregarded. And that is unhealthy for our governance structure.
The law that set up DVLA, doesn't it allow them to undertake these sport fines?
No, we only need the approval of Parliament. You will initiate it. You get the concurrence of your ministry, and then you bring it to Parliament. So you are the implementing agency, but the final authorization should come from Parliament. You cannot say to your somewhere at DVLA and be imposing fees and charges. You can't. The law doesn't empower them. They should show us the powers in DVLA. Why have they stopped? And what happens to those that they collected money from prior to they stopping this exercise and trying to bring it before Parliament? So clearly, President has come up with Code of Ethics and Conduct. Why are they not sanctioning the DVLA chief executive? Why are they not sanctioning him? Who took that decision for them to go ahead and do it without recourse to Parliament?
Is it in the code that if you take a decision without going to Parliament, you should be sanctioned?
No, the code is if you do any action that embarrasses government, if you take any decision that you know or ought to have known that it requires certain procedures and you don't, it is an affront to the code of conduct, and somebody should sanction somebody.
Well, thankfully, we're being joined on phone by Stephen Atu, his Director of Corporate Affairs at DVLA. Now, thank you for joining us this afternoon. How do you respond to the claims of the minority MP against DVLA? And really, why did you not send the charges to Parliament for approval, if indeed they had to go to Parliament?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners. Let me be emphatic. DVLA is a law-abiding institution, an institution that is a creature of law, and at every point in time, whatever fees, charges that DVLA imposes are those approved by Parliament. At no point has DVLA imposed any fees and charges that have not gone through Parliament. Indeed, maybe the Member of Parliament, I don't know whether he's a first-timer or he's been around Parliament for a while, but then there is a regulation. In fact, the name of the regulation is Fees and Charges Miscellaneous Provisions. That is Regulations 2023 LI 2481. In that LI, at page 123, it contains the fees and charges that are approved by Parliament for the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. Indeed, the Ministry of Finance has the ultimate responsibility of compiling fees and charges of institutions of state that have the mandate to impose fees and charges. And those fees and charges are proposed through the sector ministries. And these sector ministries present these proposals to the Parliamentary Select Committee of Finance. Sometimes they do it jointly with the committees that are sector specific. And these fees and charges are presented as a whole document. So when you pick that document, you see those that relate to the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority. You see those that are related to the Ghana Aviation Authority. Those that are related to the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority are contained at page 123, where these charges are directly stated. Indeed, when you pick it, on the left part, you see revenue items. Then you see approved fees and charges. And this will be the 225, exactly. I'm coming. I'm seeking to explain something. So we have spot fines there. And in fact, item 5 specifically deals with non-compliance with rules of the road. And this falls under DVLA. And in fact, the charges, there's a range of charges that are provided. Some of them are 5 penalty units. Others are 10 penalty units. They range up to 25 penalty units. And you know that each penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. Do the multiplication on the specific offense that is identified. Please, this is the shortest response we can ever have as DVLA. These charges are approved by Parliament. The Member of Parliament should look at it. And if he believes that this was not approved or we are charging something illegal, we can have that roundtable discussion. Thank you very much. Well, you have since actually issued a notice on the decision to suspend these charges. What went into, what triggered the decision? So, upon the implementation, in fact, part of these charges began as far back 2012. So they were in the system, for which reason DVLA actually created what you call the compliance team. The DVLA's compliance team has been around for years. The reason for which the public has gotten to hear about what they are doing on the road is because the current regime had decided to expand the workforce at the compliance unit. In fact, what this chief executive has done is to ensure that every regional office and district office has at least 10 compliance officers who go to the road to enforce the laws of Ghana, the laws that relate to road traffic offenses. And it is because they are present at the various sections of the roads, people are getting to know of what they are doing. But to be frank with you, there are a few things that have come back to the table, the feedback we pick from the public. For instance, somebody imports a vehicle, and you can see that this is a brand new vehicle that the person has brought into the system. The vehicle from home has a tinted mirrors. What do you do? These are things that we need to have a broader conversation around to see whether under such instances, because the only option the person will have to is to take the car back to a garage, get the windows removed and replaced. This is a new car. So if these concerns have come back, and as an authority that is dealing with human beings and in applying human face, looking at the fact that these are situations we are getting confronted with in the public, we want to withdraw and then have a broader consultation so that if there are exemptions that will be granted, those exemptions will be proposed and be granted. Then we put the guys back on the road to enforce the traffic laws. That is our crime. This cannot be a crime committed by
just a bit of clarity.
We pick a feedback.
Indulge me a bit, just a bit of clarity, especially because you said this compliance has been in existence since 2012. But this particular one that you have just suspended, you say that it falls under a regulation that you cited 2023. Is it that the one that started 2012 in 2023 was expanded? You added this particular one. There's an LI of 2012, the Road Traffic Offences Act 2012, which is LI 2180. Sorry, you understand? LI 2180. That law exists, is in the system. The point is that they get amended over time, especially when it comes to the issues having to do with fees and charges, because the regime changes over time. And we have gone in, DVLA went back to seek for an amendment of the miscellaneous, the fees and charges, which was done in the year 2023.
And so what our guys are doing is to enforce something that has been in existence as far back the LI 2180 was passed in 2012.
Okay.
And so it is not anything new. What I said is that it's because the team has been enhanced and they have become more visible on the streets and they are enforcing the laws. People are getting to know that, oh, these laws actually exist with DVLA. And I'm saying that it is not anything new we have brought.
So basically, there's nothing to go to Parliament for.
They are charges that have been approved by Parliament.
There's nothing to go to Parliament for then? Absolutely nothing?
I don't think there's anything we need to go back to Parliament on.
Thank you so much for talking to us on the news today. Now.